Well, hey, everybody. I want to welcome you to the first live broadcast that I have done here with my channel, State of Charge, where we focus on solar power, web technology, and life stories. And so in today's broadcast, we're doing one of those life stories, and I'm interviewing and have a guest on, and he's a good friend of mine. Dr. Derek Matthews. He is starting out a channel. It's called Character Quest, and it's really how to develop the best leader that you can possibly be. So I would highly encourage you to go to his channel and check out his videos. He's doing a great job. And so uh, as I'm working through my channel, State of Charge, one of the things that I always say every single time I end a video, I ask you as my audience a question, and it's, what is your state of charge? And there's kind of a connotation there as to, are you operating fully charged, or are you operating on a depleted manner and you're not feeling the full potential of yourself? And so hopefully, we as people are feeling charged. Our state of charge is 100%. And so today's topic is going to be how to stay fully charged as a leader. But before we dive into that, Derek, welcome to the live broadcast today. Why don't you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're doing?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, John. It's fun to be on here with you
Absolutely.
and pour into your community. So again, my name's Derek, and I am a leadership geek. I love all things leadership, and run a leadership development firm where we help people become the greatest leadership version of themselves so that their organization can become best in class. And that's what we are all about. We're in the leader making business. And I'm also in the beverage distribution business as a fourth generation in the family business. So I get the best of both worlds. I get to develop
Nice.
leaders, and I get to have a daily grind where I'm getting to practice what I preach. So it's very fun. So I'm just glad to
And
be here.
what about your family? We got to talk about them too.
Family, yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Can't forget
So
them.
I have a beautiful wife. Her name's Michelle. We've been married for, oh boy, I shouldn't have gone there. 7 years? What's 2012? I know the date, October 19th, 2012.
Yeah.
What is that, 7
Oh,
years?
yeah. Coming up on 8. Yeah.
There we go. Eight. We have three beautiful kids. We have Dahlia, who is a spunky 5-year-old girl. We have Monroe, who is super hilarious. She's 3 years old. And then we have little baby Dawson, who is 3 months old. So I am not getting much sleep right now. And my wife is probably listening in saying, well, I'm getting a lot less than you. So
Yeah, don't be
yeah,
complaining, right, buddy?
we are in the thick of it right now.
That's awesome. Well, that is awesome, awesome, awesome. Tell us a little bit about your channel. What are you doing there, and how's it been going for you?
It's been a lot of fun, John. Creating videos and giving people strategies and tips on how to navigate the challenges of leadership. And I enjoy connecting with my community and helping charge their battery, if you will, with content. And it's just a lot. It's a lot of fun. I like the whole video aspect of communicating and giving people content through video. So
Yeah,
it's been a
yeah.
lot of fun.
I remember you talking to me about it, 2 or 3 months ago, and right in the middle of the pandemic is, how do leaders lead when everything's virtual? And that was
Yeah.
kind of one of your spawning topics. And I was like, he's got something here. It's going to be fun to see your channel grow and to become to flourish and become popular.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for your encouragement.
Yeah, yeah. Well, hey, let's go ahead and dive right in.
Let's do
Today's
it.
topic is, how do leaders stay fully charged? Just thinking of myself, I'm a family of 6. I've got 4 children and my wife, and I'm running 2 businesses, and we're doing sports and we're doing school from home, which is crazy. And I know that there are times in more times than not that I'm coming home at the end of the day and I am feeling depleted. Yet I still have to be a father, yet I still have to be a husband, I still have to be a friend. And so there are some things that are pulling me in every direction. So, how do leaders stay fully charged? And I want you to talk a little bit about that today.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big challenge. Being a leader is the loneliest thing you'll probably ever do, and it's very depleting and can really deplete your battery. And so, I think there's pretty much 5 strategies to refilling that battery and recharging that battery to be your best self, to be have more energy.
Cool.
So the first one is, and a lot of you that are listening are probably not going to want to hear this, and you're going to argue this, but you got to get 8 hours of sleep. So I always thought, and there's John sleeping last night.
Yeah, I was out cold.
You were out. That was you. That was you at your desk at like 1 p.m. Right? So bear with me here, John. A lot of people say I only need 4 hours of sleep. Like, oh, I only need 5 hours of sleep. And like we've created this society that we brag about not needing enough sleep, and people that sleep in are looked at as lazy. And while I understand some of those things are just like a cultural thing, there's one thing that we need to change in our culture, and that's this like bragging about not getting enough sleep. And there's some things, it's a mindset shift that happened to me to become to believe in this whole 8 hours thing. And I'll get into that in a second. But one of the things is we are a dark deprived society. I mean, if you think about it, we are constantly having blue light. I think, blue light, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Blue light emitting into our eyes. And, we go home at night, and when the sun starts going down, we still have lights on. We still have phones out. And all that stuff really impacts your body's natural ability to produce melatonin. I get melanin and melatonin mixed up. Melatonin is the sleeping chemical, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're not like turning the lights down and kind of getting the phone out of your face naturally at night, it's going to be harder for you to fall asleep. And so we all start off at a deficit because of our dark deprived society. We got lights on all the time.
Yeah.
So that's just like the kind of the cultural thing. But I read a book last year by Dr. Matthew Walker. He was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and that's what really turned me on to this. And he's a sleep scientist. And so he's like, you need to get 8 hours of sleep. And I'm like, there's no way. That's what lazy people do, right? You sleep and you're in your bed, what, a quarter of your life or a half of your life, they say. And so what he talked about, and he really convinced me, is that sleep is the foundation of health. It's above diet and exercise. So go ahead. Were you going to say something?
No, I'm just trying to picture my own, lifestyle. And I mean, like you said earlier, it's like we've kind of conditioned ourselves to say, oh, if I get 5 or 6 hours of sleep, I'm doing okay. Yeah. And so I'm just thinking to myself, okay, if I'm going to, as a leader, commit to getting 8 hours of sleep, well, there's some lifestyle changes that I'm going to have to really adopt and stay, adamant about.
Absolutely. Some of those lifestyle changes that I would say are, turning the lights down at night so your body can naturally start to get tired, and forcing yourself to go to sleep at a certain time and sticking to that time.
I mean, raise your hand, right? How many of us are lying in bed at 10:30 at night with our phone right here, and we're getting that white light, that blue light, and it doesn't allow our brains to shut down, right? It's just so it's probably, thinking through some of those kinds of things.
Well, also, I think it's not so much that it's easy to fall asleep at a certain time each night or become disciplined. It's the benefits outweigh the costs, because if you're not getting 8 hours of sleep, it impacts what's called your ghrelin and your leptin levels. And so it's basically your inability to control what you eat and control exercise and have energy the next day. So, I mean, we could talk. I know we have more points that we need to get to, but
No, you're
if
fine.
you really want to dive into this, like read the book Why We Sleep by Dr. Matthew Walker. It will totally convince you of, like, if you really want to recharge your battery as a husband, as a father, as a mom, as a leader, you've got to get the 8 hours, because everything else in your life starts to get better, like your appetite, your ability to exercise. And he really does a good job of explaining that.
That's awesome. What's the next question, or what's the next thing that we need to try to do to try to stay fully charged as leaders?
Okay, so this is what I call me time margin. So many of us are as leaders are so busy leading people that we don't create enough margin for ourselves. And what margin really looks like is, think about your calendar and putting in a block of time every day, whether it's 15, 20 minutes, to do something that is like 100% for you. And
so me time really is, there's nobody else around, right? Like I know I'm an introvert, so I get recharged when I'm by myself. My wife is an extrovert, and she loves being around people, so she gets recharged when there's a lot of people around. Is this something that, is just for me only, or just for her only? Is that what you're saying?
I would say so, yeah. Whether it's working out in the morning, or whether, for me, like, I have to work out, and if I don't do that for myself, I do not give my family and my team the best of me. And so, like, they get a worse version of me because I haven't, like, gotten my 30-40 minute workout in, and like, I'm just a nicer person when I have, recharged my battery as far as getting a workout in.
Yeah. So I like that analogy of they're not getting the best version of me, right? We don't want to give a subpar version of ourselves to anyone. And so if we know that some me margin or me time allows me to give them the best version of me, then the question I have is, why don't we prioritize that me time so that we are giving the best version of ourselves?
I think it comes down to a couple things. One, it can be your personality type. Certain personality types are very giving, and sometimes our greatest strength, when pushed to an extreme, is actually our biggest weakness. And so very giving people will give until they have nothing left. And then now everyone's getting the worst of them, right? And so that's something that's like a self-awareness thing that some of us have to understand. And second, I think it comes down to lack of discipline, because if we, I mean, all of us have that calendar, and if you put it on our iPhone or Android or whatever, that you can see hour by hour what things you have to do. And if you just put your thumb there and add workout every few days a week or something like that, then it's locked in there, and you have it in, and you then do what's on your calendar. And I think that proactive scheduling is super important.
Yeah. What's next for us to help be better leaders, to stay fully charged?
So I would say, like, help someone get better. A lot of times while it's important to create me time margin, it's very important to just give generously. And I've done a lot of this with character quests. I mean, I've spent hundreds and hundreds of hours working with college students, and I don't make a dime off that, but I would pour pour into college students to help develop the next generation of leaders. That means going down to Arizona State University, or going to different universities and talking with the entrepreneur group or a fraternity or something like that, and just helping them get better, because it's really just good for the soul, John. I mean,
yep.
And as a leader, we're beating our brains into the keyboard trying to figure out problems, solve problems, and motivating our teams to solve problems. And sometimes you just have to give somewhere where you're not going to receive anything back. And it's a good practice to have, and it keeps you grounded.
Yeah. I kind of think of this like a battery, right? I mean, what is the purpose of charging a battery, right?
Yeah.
It's so that you can draw from it. It is giving of itself to do something of the greater good, right? So why would we charge ourselves if we're not going to then deplete it in a good way, to add value, to add a benefit, to do something more for the greater greater good. So I like that. Giving of yourself. Do you have an example? Tell us a little bit. So you talked about how you did that with some college students. What are some things that you do with college students, and how have you seen the fruits of that labor, grow over time?
Well, I think one of the biggest things that I've seen is a lot of college students, a lot of young, high potential leaders don't see themselves as leaders. They're like, well, no, a leader is someone who, I mean, I actually did my dissertation on this, and which I don't need to get into all that boring stuff. But the main thing that I found in my dissertation, because I worked with college students, was that most of them think that a leader is the loud, boisterous person that stands up and is the champion and everything like that. And what I've done with a lot of college students, I've said that, like, no, there's not one type of leader. Like, every single person brings something unique to the table. We all have strengths. We all have something that we bring to the table. And my job is to help. When I'm helping someone get better, I'm using my gifts of leadership development to help, college students understand that what they bring to the table and how they can, kind of rise to the leadership occasion and say, oh, geez, I guess I am a leader. It's creating that self-awareness.
It's that paying forward. The thing that I like to think of is, if you have any type of influence over anyone, then you are a leader. That could be an older brother to a younger sibling. It could be to a coworker. Maybe you're just a little bit higher up on the organizational chart. If you have any kind of influence over anybody, then you are a leader.
Yeah, leadership is not a position; it's a process. It's a process of influencing people.
I like that.
Totally agree with that.
Cool.
So what else we got?
I think the next one here, and this one's going to be a hard one for me, Derek, because I am not a reader. I'm a visual learner. So talk to me more. Talk to me about reading more. What is that going to do for me?
Okay, so a few years ago, I challenged myself to read like 45 books in a year. And
oh my goodness.
I'm busy just like you. I'm busy like all of our listeners and everything like that. It's not like I have this crazy amount of time to sit and read. I think we actually had we had Dahlia that year. Yeah.
Wow.
Wait. Yeah, we had Dahlia that year, and I kept up with it. So here's my purpose of reading. We create blind spots. The longer we live, the more blind spots we create. And we start getting into these rigid ways of thinking. And that's not healthy. That's not good. So I think it's really important to read lots of different books to expand our mind, expand our perspectives, so that we don't become narrow-minded and boring. And also, we can sit with anyone, anywhere, and have something to talk about. And it's the ability to connect.
Have some type of coherent conversation, right? What I've been doing for myself, again, I've always reading has always been hard for me. I'm a creative visual learner, and so I'll be reading a page in a book, and I'll read the entire page, and I'll go, what the heck did I just read? Because my mind will wander off on whatever
Yeah.
else it is. So what I've found that's been working for me, and I've been doing it every morning for the past month, driving into work, is I'm just listening to audio, and that's been really helpful for me. It kind of, instead of sitting in the car and listening to music that's not doing any good for me, I've been listening to some audio books, and that's been beneficial for me. Would you consider that along the same lines as reading?
Absolutely, 100%. And that's how I read all those books, was Audible.
No,
I
okay,
don't
very
sit
good.
down and actually read. So that's the second part of this, is like Audible's your best friend, because
Nice.
you can do the dishes, you can run, you can work out and still read, but you're
That's
listening. So yeah,
yeah.
100%. I think it's great.
We can stop now. I feel much better about myself.
So you're a reader, John. You're a reader.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. That's great.
Yeah. So what else we got?
All right. Last one here. You had me say, put your phone away.
Oh yeah, put your phone away. So I'm a millennial, I'll admit it. And I can't remember how it happened, but I mean I had told you about this before, John,
Mm-hmm.
like about a month ago. My phone got wet, and this is like, okay, mid COVID. I need a new phone. Well, all the Apple stores are closed, and
Mm-hmm.
Best Buy can't help me. And so I had to contact Apple, and they had to send me a new phone. So I was a millennial without a phone for a week. Think
You
about
poor
that.
soul.
Oh, it was painful. But you know what? It was the best thing ever, because when my daughter asked me to sit on the couch and watch Bluey with her, or whatever those shows are, Fancy Nancy. You probably don't know what any of those shows are, but I do. I would sit and actually watch it with her. I wasn't like glancing down at my phone, looking at Facebook or Instagram or anything like that. I was much more present. And so I
Hmm.
found that in my personal life, I became more charged, because the time I was spending with people, I wasn't, and like even in meetings and things like that, I didn't have that constant urge to like, maybe I can escape for just a quick second to look at this. I didn't have that
Mm-hmm.
urge.
You didn't even have that option, too.
And John, that urge has like crept up on us over the years, with all the influx of all the different apps and all the different things to check in on. And
Mm-hmm.
to not have that was great. And the best part about it was when my wife asked me to go run an errand, and she told me 2 or 3 things that she needed at the store. She couldn't call me when I was at the store and add on to that list. That was the best thing about not having a phone.
Oh, that's great. That is great. That's awesome.
But you know, it
Yeah,
really.
that
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and those things can take over our life. I mean, it goes back to the first step is get 8 hours of sleep. That's one of the things that's robbing us tremendously of that sleep is just these phones that are constantly in our hands, right?
Yep. Yeah, and I think, as leaders, again, the last thing I'll say about putting your phone away is, we have given our phones an automatic invitation to the dinner table,
Mm,
to the bar, to the meeting room table, to the
mm-hmm,
boardroom, and
mm,
we've made it weirdly acceptable to check it, when really it shows that you're checking out.
yeah.
And I think, all of us, if we can, as leaders, plug into our people instead of our phones,
Mm,
I think we'll see a lot higher engagement of our people.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, well, hey, Derek, I want to thank you so much for doing this with me. I'm loving
Yeah.
watching
Thank
your
you.
channel. I'm loving watching your videos and watching that build. So keep up the good work there. Before we sign off, I'm going to go through these just real quick so that people have those. So the first one was get 8 hours of sleep and try to make that a priority. Create me time margin. This is time exclusively for yourself, nobody else. Get recharged and filled up. And then once you're charged, give it back. Help somebody get better through mentoring, through serving, through just generosity in many different ways. Read more And I'm so glad that you put in listen to audiobooks more, because now I can say I'm a reader. And then the last one, and this is a good one for me as well, is put your phone away. After we've gone through those 5 things, any last closing remarks that you'd like to share with anybody?
No, hold on. I gotta check. I just got a notification on my phone. I gotta check. Just a second.
Oh, you're bad. You're
No,
bad.
I just want to thank you for having me on. It was fun to talk to you about these things, and I appreciate the conversation. So thank you.
Absolutely, man. It's my pleasure, and good luck with everything. We'll see you soon, and hopefully everybody has a great day. And again, I'm going to end my video with, I do this with every video. I'm going to say, what is your state of charge? And my hope is that you are fully charged and the best version of yourself. Take care and have a great day.
Thank you.